All right, so today we'll be talking about the Freudian analysis of the Black Cat by Edgar Allan by me, Daniel, Josh, and Kaden. Today we'll be talking about the climax, things such as the climax, rising action, exposition, many things. So how about Kaden? Starting off with the exposition.
To start off with the black cat, we start with the narrator's wife, a black cat, which is named Pluto, and a second black cat later on in the story that heavily resembles Pluto. The narrator takes a great interest in all animals slash pets, especially black cats. It's Pluto. The narrator appears to also have mood swings, mainly due to alcohol, which caused him to commit violent crimes.
And this leads to the rising action, where he one day, after being intoxicated, he decides to attack his beloved cat Pluto. In this attack, he actually takes out one of Pluto's eyes, and then so this leads to days later, he actually murders Pluto and hangs him on a tree. Then weeks later, he stumbles upon a mysterious black cat that resembles Pluto, and he takes it into his home. Then at this point, days after weeks and months of having this new cat, he decides to attack this one with the axe, but his wife intervenes because she does not want this to happen again.
So this leads to the climax, in which during his attempt to take the life of his new cat, his wife interrupts him, and I think he hit her in the back of the head with the axe, murdering her. Which then the character claims that he's sane. However, he's not sane. It's clear in the story he's not sane. Trying to take his life of his cat. He went from animal loving person to now taking the life of his cats and taking sadly the life of his wife, which eventually leads to the following exposition.
Yes, as a death of his wife, the narrator hides the body of his wife inside one of the walls in his basement. The new mystery cat is nowhere to be seen. He assumes that he ran away out of fear of being murdered. Days later, the police show up for no reason whatsoever to examine his house. He leads them through his house, showing that he has done nothing wrong, and he is confident that they will not be able to discover his crime.
So this leads up to the resolution and the end of the story. So as the police are leaving the house, they hear a cry from a cat inside the wall in the basement. Right after hearing this, the police completely tear apart and disassemble the wall, and then this is where they find the corpse of the narrator's wife. Then the cat is also seen here alive, sitting on the wife's head. The confident narrator has now obviously been found guilty and has been arrested and is now waiting in his jail cell for punishment by execution. And then this actually leads to the Freudian perspective.
So, from a perspective, the narrative of the story is shown to have mood swings, as stated before. These mood swings are the unconscious part of his brain. That I think is the id or the conscious, one of the two. And what there's id is in the real world, the black cat voicing narrator, and bites him when he sees by the narrator. Since the goal of the id is to satisfy the immediate instinctual impulses, pleasure, principle, the man's immediate desire for revenge causes him to cut out one of the cat's eye. What do you guys have to say about that? Continue on.
Um, but clearly he he probably has some sort of mental illness because the mood swings and how he likes animals more than people, but then he attacks his animals, his beloved pets. So I don't know. It's just I think he might have
Says
some sort
that
of.
his mood swings are mainly due to alcohol. He's a heavy drinker. That's why.
I
So later,
okay, go ahead.
so later in the story, the narrator is said to be overcome by a spirit of perverseness and seeks to do wrong for the sake of doing wrong, causing him to hang his cat from a tree. This is the id surfacing into the real world again, and causes the narrator to forget or ignore the morality, which is the superego, and the reality, which is the ego, of the situation that he could get himself into, simply because he wants to satisfy his immediate impulses.
Mm. And this leads to some themes of the Black Cat. So there are plenty of themes in here, and one of those is superstition themes, murder themes of murder and death. But one that is most focused in this novel or short story is the loyalty perverted, and it's seen multiple times in the story about the raging impulses and what they make the narrator do, like killing his first cat. He attacked his first cat twice, which he killed in the second attack, and then he even attacked his third cat. So Yeah, so there's just a bunch of themes in here, and there's actually more themes.
Murder and death is seen prominently throughout the whole story, with the cat being dead, his wife being killed, and the thoughts that he has, just in general. It it just brings a lingering question as to why he became the way he became. Why do you guys think that? I mean, he used to be an animal lover, so why do you guys think he just started to kill? I mean, superstition may be one of them. Illusions, because he's alcoholic, maybe another one. He may be seeing illusions or hallucinations, one of the two. Either way, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Well, the black cat itself could be a symbol because black cats are looked as bad luck sometimes, and he's had two black cats in this story, which one of them obviously killed again, and the second one ended up with the death of his wife. So that could be a symbolistic view, which is the two cats. Yep.
My thoughts on the book is that freaking Carbonell, you're right. It's a good Halloween story. I agree with you on that. It's a very good Halloween story, and it's very confusing to read, like Shakespeare. But I like it. It's weird.
Uh, I believe it's a very interesting story. I think it's really meant to show what happens if we're really just to follow without morals, without looking at the reality situation, without basically without morals. It'll show what happens, what we really are without our morals. We're just people who follow our instincts. We're just wound up just being horrible murderers.
Mm. Yeah, it was definitely confusing to read. I definitely had to read it more than twice to fully understand. But I'm still confused about. I mean, this is crazy what he struggled with the. I mean, even though he struggled with that, it does not justify his actions. But it was just unfortunate what happened.